So I think we can go ahead and start.
Okay, get started. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Frog Force Robotics Info Session. Due to certain technical difficulties, this is only our second time we're trying this. We had some trouble getting into YouTube Live, so apologize for that. But not to worry, this session is being recorded. There will be a it will be made available on our YouTube channel in the same location for your future reference. All right, so let's get started. My name is Chris Huang, and I'm one of the coaches on the team. I have with me two of our outgoing student officers, Karthik Rao and Megan Douglas, who will be our main presenters. And then we also have our incoming student officers, Andrew Wang and Arseny Ilinich, who will be facilitating our Q&A. Also with me is Mrs. Moore and Mr. Tigala, our other coaches and mentors on the team. Once again, this live stream is being recorded and will be available on the YouTube channel for your reference. At this point, I would like you all to please log into your YouTube channel account so that you can interact with us via chat during a live Q&A segment towards the end. Okay. Hold on a second. All right. Here's the agenda that we'll be going through. First, we'll introduce FIRST and Frog Force, followed by a brief description of our team structure, operation, and timeline. Then we will show you how to get involved. And finally, we'll end with a Q&A session. So over to Karthik Rao, who will introduce us to FIRST.
Thank you, Mr. Huang. Hi, guys. So what is FIRST? FIRST stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. FIRST is a worldwide organization founded in 1989 by Dean Kamen. You may know him as the inventor of the Segway. The mission of FIRST is to inspire young people to be science and technology leaders and innovators by engaging them in exciting mentor-based programs that build science, engineering, and technology skills, fostering well-rounded life capabilities, including self-confidence, communication, and most importantly, leadership. FIRST at every grade level, which includes FIRST LEGO League Explorer for kindergartners to third graders, FIRST LEGO League Challenge for fourth graders to sixth graders, FIRST Tech Challenge for 7th through 8th graders, and FIRST Robotics Competition for 9th through 12th graders. There are over 40,000 FIRST teams globally with more than 4,000 FRC teams. In fact, it is now recognized as the leading nonprofit STEM engagement program for kids worldwide. Here's a video explaining more about what FIRST is.
This isn't a robot. It very well may have hydraulic arms, a drivetrain, and a circuit board, but this isn't a robot. This is a lesson in humility, hard work, and collaboration. This is a CrossFit workout for the muscle upstairs. This is an apple for the next generation of Newtons. It's a lot of things, but this isn't a robot. This is a roadmap that leads straight to engineering. This is a rock to shatter 1,000 glass ceilings, a rope to pull a generation up and out of poverty, a sledgehammer to break down cultural barriers, and a universal language spoken in every nation on Earth. And because of that, this is a compass that can help point the way to peace. But please, Don't think this is just a robot. This is Glastonbury for technology. This is mission control for the next moonshot. This is the Rosetta Stone to help translate the future. This is the sport that will help us win tomorrow. This is the software to program ourselves to cure cancer, build a clean engine, or step foot on Mars. But this isn't a robot. It's a machine to build the people who will change the world.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan. So what is Frog Force? We are a world-class robotics team from Novi High School that participates in FIRST Robotics competition. We were founded 20 years ago in 2001, and a few of our accomplishments are that we were world champions in robot performance in 2005, and we have been awarded the Chairman's Award, the most prestigious award, at the state level 11 times. We work to spread STEM worldwide and deeply throughout communities while maintaining a very competitive level of robot performance. Both of these goals account for the fact that we have qualified for the World Championship 18 times since 2001.
All right, so why should you guys join? Students involved in FIRST are more likely to continue on to college, and last year alone, FIRST provided over $80 million in scholarships to FIRST students. Frog Force students have earned over $400,000 in FIRST scholarships and other scholarships, internships, college admissions, and even careers. Now, a certain level of dedication is required, but you will also get the opportunity to work alongside industry experts in engineering and business, along with exposure to sponsors and educational institutions. You will have a better understanding of how science and technology relates to everyday life, and you will have an increase of self-confidence that enables you to pursue these career fields. We have a saying here, it's a sport of the mind where everyone can go pro. And again, it doesn't just happen by itself. You need to have student dedication and you need to have parent involvement.
Here's our chairman's video, which highlights our team's outreach efforts and really captures our overall mission as a team. Barriers come in different shapes and sizes.
Some can be seen and some cannot. Some are physical, some are cultural, and some are social.
But we believe that FIRST crosses all borders, breaks down all barriers, and defies all boundaries.
We start in our own neighborhood, spreading the word, sharing what we know, and learning together.
We work with our community to assemble 3D printed prosthetic arms.
So everyone, including young students, know that they can make a huge impact.
We celebrate success of any kind to build confidence and connect everyone.
But it's also about looking beyond our borders and stepping outside of our comfort zone to share what we love with everyone.
We source funding through grants and sponsors to break down financial barriers. We work through school systems to make FIRST available where students are every day.
And at community centers, where students learn and play. We stick with our teams, providing continuous support and starting sustainable programs, so there is always a team for any student to join.
We work with neighbors close to home and across the globe to make FIRST accessible for everyone.
Robotics is a universal language that brings everyone together, increases understanding across cultures, and provides life-changing opportunities.
We meet students where they are and create a safe space that nurtures an innovative spark.
We form alliances to tackle the big challenges.
We connect people from all communities, countries, and cultures. So together, we can change the world.
All right, so this year is the 2020 game, Infinite Recharge. Here is quarterfinal match number 3. This video is from the Kettering 2 district where we won the finalists award. In Infinite Recharge, robots compete between 2 alliances and 3 robots. We are team number 503 on the Red Alliance, and in this match, we are on the far left of the field. In the video shown, the first 15 seconds is Auton, where we successfully pick up and shoot 6 power cells into the power port. We then cycle power cells from human player to the power port across the field during the teleoperated period, and finally climb to balance, then switch the switch during the endgame.
Now for our team structure and timeline. Here we have a chart showing the structure on our team. We run like a small business, so there are a lot of different areas you can work in. We have 2 distinct sides of the team, the business and engineering sides. However, we are very collaborative and work together to make sure we are successful in all areas. There are 11 groups total, so we can accommodate you and your skill set anywhere. This is inclusive of groups that are not strictly technical, like outreach, marketing, and media. More information will be given about each group on June 25th at our group fair.
The Frog Force Steering Committee is a governing body comprising of 6 student officers, coaches, and mentors. We meet year-round to make key decisions and provide directions to the team.
Here are our sponsors who have generously donated a variety of resources to our team. Without them, our team fee would be 5 times what it is now.
So what do? Frog Force is a competitive robotics team. We are active throughout the year. The time commitment is more comparable to playing a varsity sport than it is participating in a club. The season begins in May with officer elections, off-season competitions, and community outreach events with NBOT K-8 Town Hall, team formation, workshops, kit management, and Girls STEM Camp. The team meets every Thursday evening at 6:30 in the fall during preseason. Training, mentoring K-8, roster formation, and 2 FTC qualifiers. The competition season begins on January 9th. We meet every weekday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for 8 weeks to build a robot and prepare for competition. In March, competitions began every other weekend or so until until the end of April, which is when Worlds is. So again, don't think of it as participating in a club. Think of it like playing a winter sport.
Hi all, my name is Niranjan Tigala and I'm one of the mentors with FrogForce. As you can see, Karthik has just explained that, we are a year-long team. So there is some kind of, discipline that we are required to be part of the team. What you're seeing currently on the slide are some of the roster requirements. So why do we need such kind of requirements? So similar to any kind of a competitive sport or a club, these requirements are needed to fulfill to be on the team roster. And we heavily rely on the students to make to our team to participate in the events and make it a successful one. So let's go through some of the roster requirements, what we are seeing. This roster requirement starts from June 1st and goes until November 21st. So there is almost 6 months of time. And in that 6 months of time, we are just asking you to attend at least 10 meetings, 10 team meetings, and be able to participate in at least 2 first workshops, 2 community outreach events, and 2 community services. And also mentor a NBOT team. So those NBOT teams are junior FLL, FLL, and FTC teams from Novi. And there are some kind of trainings that you have to go through to understand what FrogForce is, like, mandatory team trainings and whatever group that you're part of. We expect you to attend at least 75% of those group trainings. And there are 2 main important events as part of it, which are called FrogForce Frenzy and Retro FTC Qualifier. And apart from that, just to make it easy for you, we have designed an app in our FrogForce website where you can actually track your attendance on a weekly basis, monthly basis, whenever you want, to know where you stand and what needs to be done to accomplish the roster requirements. While we understand, there are some kind of conflicts that you get as soon as the school starts. And it is very important, that you bring that to our notice at least before August 8th, so that, we can try to help you to be part of the team. And the next few slides will explain you more details about the events. Thank you.
So a lot of you are probably wondering, how do I get involved? Let's start with our weekly team meetings. Attending these is the best way to get involved and get yourself known within the team. We talk about recent and upcoming events and make sure everyone stays informed on a weekly basis. Typically, our meetings are in the media forum at Novi High School, but right now we are having them over Zoom on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Once the build season starts in January, our meetings are then moved to Mondays at 6 p.m. This is part of the roster requirements, so everyone is encouraged to attend as much as possible.
Another great way to get involved with the team is through off-season competitions. This is a great chance to get to know the team, the game, the robot, competitions, and scouting. Unfortunately, due to the current situation with the pandemic, all off-season competitions are not being supported by FIRST this year and may not occur. Hence, this event category has been waived from this year's roster requirements.
Now for the community outreach and community service events. Both of these event types are part of the roster requirement, and you can see some examples on the screen. Under community outreach, we have events like Maker Faire, sponsor visits, and robot demonstrations at football games. Under community service, we have our most recent initiative, Shield Our Community, along with the Rouge River Cleanup and Paul Walk. This is just a small sampling of all the outreach events we do.
So next up is FIRST workshops and mentoring. So incoming freshmen who have recently done FTC or FLL, you guys are our best mentors. So I would encourage freshmen to mentor the NBOT or Detroit teams. Remember, per roster requirements, mentoring weekly for a month accounts for 1 event of any type, which means 1 less event. There are a few examples of FIRST workshop events, and per roster requirements, students need to do at least 2 under this category. So this includes FTC programming workshops, Say Play, FTC camps, Girls STEM camp, and Detroit PAL workshops.
Next, we have training. So there's a wide variety of training we provide to make sure that everyone is ready on the team. We hold RoboCamps so you can learn more about our team history and other areas of our team. We also have other mandatory training like safety and youth protection, During the preseason, you will have group training where everyone learns skills in their group to be prepared for the build season. Basically, don't be worried if you have little or even no robotics experience. We will make sure you're ready before build season rolls around.
Finally, there are the off-season projects. These involve improvements to the 2020 robot, enhancements to the swerve drive, pick cart, and even in marketing where you can help with making banners, yard signs, and 503 numbers. So there are many ways that you can get involved in the team.
Okay, so how do I join? The first thing, any new student who is aspiring to join Frog Force Robotics in high school needs to fill out this interest form, which is located, and I'll show you on the next slide. It's located on our frogforce503.org. This will enable you to be added into our distribution list and Zoom meetings so that you can start attending the team meetings. Right after that, towards the end of June, as Megan implied earlier, we'll be doing the group fair where the group leads will be providing details, roles and responsibilities of each group. So that will give you some knowledge and you can then decide as to what group interests you the most based on that. With following that, about mid-July, we'll be doing a mandatory parent orientation. At that point, we will also be doing some of the mandatory team training, like first youth protection. And at the same meeting, parents will learn how to support the team. Right after a week from that point, we'll be having the deadline for our student registration, which will be in Office 365. And also our parent survey forms will be due on the same date of July 23rd. While filling out the student registration form, the students will provide their group interests based on which we will form the groups on August 6th. The schedule for the group training after that would be mid-August to going on until end of October. Also, the RoboCamp will be held in August and September. There will be 2 sessions. So one will be like a makeup. RoboCamp will include some of the mandatory team trainings as well, and also just some which will be just general knowledge for the team. At that point, we'll be ready to accept, the team fees, which right now it's close to $100 to $125, and that deadline will be mid-August. There's an additional team/mentor meal fee of approximately $125, which will be due after the roster is formed. The roster will be finalized on November 22nd. So all the roster requirements that Mr. Tigala went through in the earlier slide will be assessed. The report will be would be analyzed, and then we will publish the final roster at that point. Just to note that all these dates currently are tentative, just because of the uncertainties out there, but we will try to go by this timeline. So next I'll show you, as I promised, that how to fill out the interest form. Now this form needs to be filled out by all the incoming freshmen who want to join robotics, as well as any high school students who have not been in our roster earlier, right? Not this past year. All the students who are currently on the roster for this past year, we are assuming you're coming back, so you'll be on the distribution list by default. So the interest form is mainly meant for the new incoming students who want to join robotics. So when you go onto the frogforce503.org website and you scroll down until you see the NBOT section, which you see on the left-hand side of your screen over here. Right at the bottom over there, you will see a new student interest form can be found here in green. So pick that, and the form comes up, and it looks like something on the right-hand side of the screen, as you see. All it asks you to do is fill out your name, email, phone number, grade level, and then any first experience. And also it asks for your parent information so that we can put them all on the distribution list. If you wanted to get to the interest form directly, the next slide here gives you the QR code and the URL, which I will also paste into the chat window during Q&A, so that you have both these tools to get to the interest form directly. Okay. So with that said, this brings us to the end of our presentation part. We will now move into Q&A, which is via the live chat on the channel. Once again, if you haven't already, please log into your YouTube channel account and post your questions on this live stream on Frogforce YouTube channel. While we wait for questions to come in via the chat feed, here is some more information on this slide, which gives you our website. Again, is frogforce503.org. If you need to go and get some further information, please go and browse our website. And if you were not, for whatever reason, you were not able to join us today, or you already left after the technical difficulties we faced early on and started late, just to reiterate, the recording of this live session will be available on our YouTube channel. If you have any questions, then please feel free to contact us at frogforce@frogforce503.org. You can also follow us on social media. Twitter handle is Frogforce, and the Facebook is Frogforce503. At this point, I will stop the presentation and bring on our Q&A panel to answer questions on the feed. So, Andrew and Arseny, do we have any questions that have come in so far?
So Krishan, I think Krishan asked, can students participate in more than one group? Students can participate in more than one group, but you'll need one main group to be part of.
Okay, good question.
The next question we are seeing is, how many hours per week will I be expected to participate?
So it really depends on the group you're in and the time of year. As we mentioned, we do meet year round, but our engineering groups are generally the busiest from about January through April, which is the build season. And during that time, the groups are meeting over 20 hours per week. And the business groups, on the other hand, don't meet as often, but also have more work prior to the build season. So prior to the January through April time period. If you aren't able to commit quite that much time to the team, we're very flexible. And the most important thing is that you communicate with your group leads for the times you won't be able to be there.
All right, our next question is there a limit on members in each group?
Usually, I'm sorry, do you want to take this question, or do you want me to?
Sure. There isn't really a limit on the amount of members for each group, but we do try to sort of like balance it. So we don't want everyone in like one group like programming. So we do, we ask you for your first, second, and third interests, and we try to keep it to your first or second interest, so we can have the groups more balanced, like I said before.
All right, our next question is, how does FRC compare/differ with FTC?
Okay, so FRC is on a much larger scale than FTC, and yeah, there, and just like FTC, there's a build side, and then there's like a chairman slash like evidence book side. However, while FTC's busy season is in the fall, FRC's busy season is in the winter, and it's also a lot longer. And well, not a lot longer, but it is a lot. There is a lot more time involved, and with the build season and preseason. So again, it's on a much larger scale.
Any other questions?
Our next question is, how will we meet during this pandemic to complete events, training, etc.?
So right now we're holding a lot of our meetings through Zoom, like this live stream, to plan for different outreach events. We aren't really able to hold a lot of the events that we typically do because they are in person, but we're trying to substitute in live streams or online meetings or something similar to achieve the same goal of completing outreach events. We also have been live streaming on the YouTube channel, this meeting, the Frog Force information meeting, and last week we had our NBOT town hall meeting, which is recorded on our YouTube channel if you want to check that out. So that can just reach a wider audience, and we have it all posted on our YouTube channel so you can watch it again.
All right, our next question is, if I am in another club which conflicts with the Frog Force schedule, will I be given leeway on the requirements for attendance?
So all exceptions, first off, all exceptions have to be made by August 8th. So I don't think that'll fit with the school schedule. However, if you do find yourself in a position where you are unable to meet with the Frog Force times, email the steering committee. They will let you know. They will try to help you find a way to make it out of whatever jam you're in. But again, August 8th is when all exceptions should be pointed out to the steering committee.
Yeah, as we mentioned, we are flexible with, we know everyone else has different commitments and other clubs or activities that you have. It's really on like a person by person basis. So we don't have like a general, like this is what you'll do instead if you can't make this requirement, but you can contact the steering committee. I see you're asking, what is the steering committee? It's the leadership group on our team. So a lot of the people you see here are on the steering committee. If you attend the weekly team meetings, you'll be able to get the email address for the steering committee, and you can contact us, and then we'll make sure that there's some other substitute for the meetings you miss. If it's like a team meeting, for example, some people have done extra outreach events in order to make up for that.
All right, our next question is, what sorts of tools are students allowed to operate in the shop? I can actually answer this one. Our school policies say that students are not allowed to operate any of the big machines unless the school engineering teacher is there, but students can use any handheld tools at any point.
Any other questions on the feed? Andrew?
I don't see any right now.
Okay. Does the panel have any other questions that we can address for the masses?
So one of the questions that I've received in the community is, what is your team doing now since the robotics spring, competition season and the spring season has been canceled? And I thought maybe Andrew and Megan could talk to a couple of things that our team has been doing for the last 8 weeks or so.
Yeah, sure. So, as we mentioned, we have been moving our meetings online virtually over Zoom. So that's how we have been meeting. We've also had some initiatives that we've organized online. One is called Shield Our Community, where we've been getting everyone in our community involved in creating PPE for people like volunteers at food organizations, frontline healthcare workers, everyone that's involved and out there during the pandemic. And then we also organized a food drive to help give back to people in our community, where we donated to 2 food pantries at 2 churches in Novi. And Andrew can also talk more about Shield Our Community because he's been mostly leading that initiative.
So Shield Our Community started from our Enable initiative. So our Enable initiative, as you might have seen from the video, was when we started 3D printing prosthetic limbs in the world. And it's going to let off in a mid-March around where we found out there was a shortage for PPE for doctors and healthcare workers across Michigan. So we started 3D printing these protective shields. I have one over here. So these are just basic protective shields that go over your face. We've been producing them. We've produced almost 2,000 shields so far. And we've been distributing them all over Michigan. And as for questions, how can parents get involved and help?
Do you want to take that one, Mr. Hong?
Yes, definitely. We have, parents, when we do the parent orientation, we'll have all the things that are out there, but definitely we need a lot of volunteers, as Karthik mentioned in one of the slides, as to why do you want to join, why is it important. Well, it cannot be run by just a few of us mentors here. And just to let you guys know, none of us are mentors, and parents over here are really getting paid for this. It's just all volunteer work that all of us are doing. But there is definitely room for every parent, if there is a will, in whatever way they can, whether it be like driving students to events, back and forth, providing or organizing, coordinating mentor meals, team meals. There's a variety of volunteer opportunities. And then from a mentorship standpoint, we strongly need some mentors who are knowledgeable in you saw the different groups that Megan had chalked out on one of the slides. Each one of the groups needs mentors. So some technical expertise needed, like in the multimedia world, with graphic arts, if somebody's interested in that, or whether it be just presentation skills, some soft skills. And then obviously on the mechanical side, we need a lot of people a lot of parents, if you have knowledge about how to CAD, we definitely need that kind of expertise, and a lot of builders, right? Hands-on builders, as Arseny mentioned, the school doesn't allow the students to actually operate those machines. They're done by the mentors. So, if you have some a build skill for any of the machine manufacturing, that would really help us. Anything else you can add, Janelle? Dennis?
So it's a little bit easier when we're meeting in the schools and have a room there where we're all meeting together. But I do encourage parents that want to get involved in the team and leadership and mentoring to attend our steering committee meetings, because that's when you really learn how the team operates and what the leadership opportunities are, maybe where we need the most help. Sometimes we have parents that come in and say, this is my passion, or this is my specialty, and I can help you with this, in a way that we may not have even thought to ask. So I do encourage parents, and if you're interested, you can send us an email at frogforce@frogforce503.org, and we can talk to you about joining those virtually in the meantime.
Very good question. Thank you for asking that.
Another question, Aditya Ram asks, what programming software does FRC use?
But robot programming is done in Java. So yeah, Java is what we use currently.
So you're asking about programming software, and our robot programming is done in Java, but we do have a group of students that do website design. And although I'm not an expert, I believe that they're also doing HTML coding and some other website related things that I don't know the name of.
Yeah. Like Node.js, maybe.
Yes, like, that sounds like a keyword.
Yeah.
And another question is, what is the deadline to register?
Yes, so it is currently July 23rd. But before that, we are ramping up to, a bunch of things that needs to get done, and for you to decide what group interests you the most, etc. before we do that, and a couple of mandatory trainings. So July 23rd is the registration deadline as of now.
So we encourage you all to sign up on the info sheet that Mr. Hong showed on the front of the website, on the homepage of the website. So we can invite you to come and join us for our team meetings. You can start learning about the team starting next week, next Thursday, and what we're involved in and how, what you would like to do as part of the team. And we'll be having those group fair meetings where you learn about the different groups that you could join and the process for going through that registration before the 23rd.
All right, another question that we have is, as part of programming group, will we get training in Java programming?
Yeah, so currently, as we mentioned, we kind of tend to dive straight into robot programming, which is more applied programming for the robot functions. But we will definitely, for which the prerequisite is that you should know Java, basic language at least. And but we will definitely help you, direct you to the resources that are available to help you self-learn, and then make a decision whether you still want to join programming group or not. Right, so you have a couple of months like June and July. If you have not done any Java, maybe you want to get hold of one of us and we can direct you to some resources where you can self-learn part of it.
Another question is, how would the season be like due to social distancing?
So as I talked about before, we are meeting online now. We're waiting to hear, just like everyone else is, to see when we can start meeting in person. If we have to social distance and everything, we are trying to move back into the high school because that's where our meetings typically are. But just like everyone else, we are making sure that we abide by the government's orders and everything in terms of social distancing. So for now, we are on Zoom.
We covered what is the steering committee? There was a question up there.
Yeah, I mentioned it when we were talking about if I'm in another club that conflicts.
Got it. Okay, any other questions? All right. So, to conclude, if we don't have any more questions, I would like to thank everyone who were able to join us today, especially the ones that waited for a while for us to get started on YouTube Live. We are terribly sorry about that. Apologize. But we were able to finally get it working. So I hope it is useful. It was useful to you. So please subscribe, like, and comment on our YouTube channel, where a video of this live session will be made available. Once again, for any further questions, please email us at frogforce@frogforce503.org. This, thanks to the panel over here as well. This brings us to the end of our live stream. Thank you.